Okay, guys, so I got a Traeger. If you listen to Dan Patrick in the morning, he talks about the Traeger smoker pellet grill all the time. I've always wanted one, and my wife took my overtime money and bought me one for my birthday and for Father's Day. So people have been asking me, what is your Traeger? So I'm gonna give you a quick run through of the Traeger. We're gonna go inside, we're gonna put some chicken together, and then we're gonna come back out here and put it on the Traeger. So this is a Traeger pellet grill. If you look over here, it just has wood pellets. These are great. You can buy a big 40-pound bag for like 20 bucks at Tractor Supply, whatever. But there's an auger in the bottom of this, and when you turn this on, it sets your temperature. The auger dumps the wood in there as much as you want. As you'll see, this is electrical. It does plug in because it's got a fan in there, so it turns it into a convection oven, which is really neat. You can make pizzas in this. You can do anything. This is like an all amazing grill. So that's where all my wood goes. I just keep it filled, but the auger just keeps filling it. So inside here is my cooking space. I bought a big one because I've got a big family. It's got a drip tray here that's on a slant, and then it just dumps out over here into a bucket. So that way all your grease and your stuff goes into that bucket, smokestack there. But what's really neat about this is underneath all this, the pellets come in this way. They dump into your firing pan, and they just heat. So this thing is not ran by propane. It's not ran by electric heat. It's ran by actual wood-fired heat, and then it just convects this whole thing. As you can see, it's pretty dirty. I use this thing quite a bit. I do ribs on this thing, brisket, hamburgers. I did brats the other night. Because it's convection, you don't have to sit here and babysit it and flip your meat every 5-7 minutes. You just let it cook. You can roll it over if you want to get some grill marks on it, but you don't have to. So that's what I love about this. So because we're gonna do chicken on this thing, it's kind of dirty right now, so I'm not gonna worry about it. Down here is a warming bucket or a warming oven. You can put hamburger buns, whatever in there. When I do burgers or brats, I just throw my buns in there and just let them kind of steam and get warm. It's got a little temperature on there. You can control your temperature right here. So that's basically the Traeger in a nutshell. So right now we're gonna get this thing turned on. Reach down here, you flip the on switch and just flip it to smoke. And as you can hear, that fan is going. And so when we know this thing's ready, in just a minute, you'll see a lot of smoke start billowing out of here, and that's when we're ready to start smoking. So we'll come back on this video here in just a minute. All right, so we walked through a little bit of the Traeger, so I'm gonna show you, I've got my chicken here. I've already rinsed it. I've already dried it. Make sure you rinse it real good. Get a paper towel, dry it all off. It should be dry when you do your rub. When we got the Traeger, it came with this chicken rub. You can put any type of rub you want on it. Really, what's really good is just salt, pepper, and a couple herbs. Quite a bit of salt, decent amount of pepper, and some herbs, and rub it all over. I don't put oil on it. Some people do. I don't like to do that because it gets your skin all crispy and hard. So I just put this on here, just sprinkle it on here pretty generously. Get your wings out, do those on there, and then just rub it in real good. Don't have to have a whole lot. This stuff has got a bit of salt to it because, like I said, salt on chicken is one of the greatest things where people are like, oh man, what's on this? And you'll just be like, salt and pepper. You'd be amazed at how good salt does. So as you see, I don't put a lot on there, but I rub it on there real good. I'm gonna flip it back over. So we're good. I tuck my wings back under here. It just gives it a more uniform cook. That way those wings don't get all burnt. And then I've got some dental floss here. You can use string, whatever. Tie these legs up. It's hard to do this when your hands are all nasty. If you hear puppies in the background, we got puppies over there, golden retriever pups. All right, so there we go. So there's that. I'm gonna cut these off here in just a second, and then we'll go to the next step of sticking these on the smoke. All right, so we're back out here. We've got our chicken right here that we just got rubbed up. As you can see, we're starting to get some smoke here, and you can hear that fan. So what that fan does is as you get fire in there, that fan just blows the smoke and the heat around so everything gets cooked evenly. This is my probe, and so I can hit this button right down here, and that'll tell me what temperature my meat is once I get it on there. But obviously there's nothing in here. I've also got this one here. This is a digital one. Ooh, I about dropped it. Got from Walmart. I love this one because it tells you your meat temperatures over here on the side. So I'm just gonna use a couple prongs and do that. So now if you listen, it sounds like a jet engine. The sound is changing. That means I actually have fire now. Once the sound changes, I just dropped my thermometer. Once the sound changes, that means you have fire now. So what I'm gonna do now that I have fire, hear it? So I'm gonna take my chicken and the Traeger, it's really nice. I'm gonna stick my chicken just right here in the center of this thing. Tuck my wings back under here. I'm gonna go ahead and put my probe right in that chicken. And then I'm gonna take a couple more probes and put them in a couple different spaces. put one right in there, and I'll put another one in this breast, because I want to know when my food is ready to rock. So I'm gonna have to wash this thing off just as I got it dirty. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this up. And so here's the beautiful part about the Traeger. It's gonna smoke. I'm gonna let this smoke for about 30 minutes. And then we're gonna come out here, we're gonna flip this thing to high, which gets about 400 degrees. And we're not gonna touch the lid, we're not gonna open it. And then we're gonna let that chicken just cook. And we're gonna let that chicken cook for about 60 minutes until my internal temperature gets about 170, 175. Then we're gonna pull it. I know a lot of people say 160 chicken's done. It is, but in a whole chicken, when you got bones and stuff like that, I like to get a little warmer because I don't like it any type of wiggly. So we'll come back out here in a little bit and I'll show you what this looks like. All right, so right now we're at 30 minutes. Our chicken's been on here for a while. I'm gonna show you something right here. You hit this button right here, that's gonna tell you your internal meat of your chicken from this probe. Right now our meat's at 58 degrees. So it's only been on here 25 minutes. It's on a smoke, it's on very low heat, so we don't expect it. It's 161 degrees in the Traeger. As you can see, you can touch it. It's not super hot, it's warm, but it's not super hot. And I just want to make sure my other temperatures are about the same. So I did clean this thing after I touched it with some chicken with my Young Living Essential Oil Steve's cleaner. That's my shout out. So my meat is all about the same. That's going to be up in that leg. It's going to be a little bit more done, which is what we want. That's down in the breast. So my breasts are running about the same. Now, typically you don't want to open this up and look at it, really, because it's only been smoking for like 30 minutes. So there's really not a lot to see. So if you get one of these and do something, don't open it and look at it, leave it shut. I'm going to open it. I'm going to have the camera come right down here. I'm just going to open it a little bit just so you can see the chicken, and then we're going to shut it right back. So that's what we got right now. It's going to look good. So I'm going to shut it back. We want to keep our heat in there as much as we can, but then come right down here. Here's what we do next. We're going to flip this thing over to high. That says 450, but with the temperature today and the weather we're having, that'll probably get to about 400 degrees. That'll be a good temperature. We're gonna let this run for 1 hour or until these get to 170 degrees, 175, and then we'll pull this thing off. So that's it for right now. We'll come back out here in an hour and we'll see where we're at. As you can see, I got a couple other things here. With this chicken, we're gonna make tostados today for lunch, and tonight we're gonna make some chicken fried rice. So you can make all kinds of things with these things. So you got your tostado shells here. They're kind of broken, but we don't want to throw those in the oven at 400 degrees. Well, the Traeger's 400 degrees, so we're going to throw them on the Traeger. And my kids love nachos, so I broke up some chips, threw some cheese on them, double layered that, Joe. And so whenever what we're going to do is we're going to stick that on the Traeger as well. So we're going to go out here. We got about 10 more minutes for this chicken. I'm going to throw these on for about 5 or 10 minutes, and we will be ready to go. All right, so we're back out here. It's actually been like an hour and 10 minutes, but a little bit longer because you got to get this thing up to temperature. But as you'll see here, we're at 165 on the right breast. But if I hit the button over here, we're at 181 on the left breast. So I'm gonna say 165 and 181 is gonna be a good 170 temperature in the between. So we're gonna go ahead and pull them. This 211 is just that very top leg. We knew that would get good. So I've already put the nachos and stuff on. They're already off, they're already in the house. But here's what we got left. Look how beautiful this thing is. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull my prongs out, leave that sitting there, pull that dude out. Look at that juice coming out of there. So, and then these little gloves, you can just get them at Walmart. They're just rubber gloves. I just reach in here and just grab my chicken. Throw it right on there. On these Traegers, you just flip this thing to shut down. And what it's gonna do is gonna burn off all the rest of the wood that's still in the hopper there. And that one got a little burnt because it flipped out. That's why I tucked those wings under. But as you can see, this is beautiful. Let's go get into this monster. All right, so as you can see, the chicken's done. One of the ways you can really tell is just start pulling on it. When that stuff starts pulling, that bone's in there twisting like that, man, you know this thing's good and done. That can just pull right off. I did get the edges a little crispy, as you can see. I didn't have those wings tucked like I like to tuck those. When you tuck those, that doesn't happen. But this thing has got a nice crisp layer to it, not burnt, nice and juicy. That's what the Traeger does. Hour-and-a-half chicken, we're ready to go. You can see the juice coming out of there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna let this rest for about 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna pull this, and we're gonna use this for tostadas. So go get you a Traeger, get you some chicken, and let's have some fun cooking like this.